Hello, everyone, and welcome to the edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, joined, as always, by the natural Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, how are you doing this week?
I feel like I'm still kind of waking up at this time. That sounds horrible to say.
She is just waking up at 10 past 10, everybody. Just think about that one for a second.
That's how it feels, okay? It's been a slow day. How are you?
I've had a busy day. I've had a busy day. It's 24 days until all hell breaks loose, and I'm starting to feel like Millball a little bit. So,
Trust me. I haven't gotten the messages, like the freakouts from you that I've gone from her. So I need to measure up in that aspect.
No. I keep my freakouts to myself because I'm the one calming other people down with their freakouts. So, then again, I'm also not selling. I'm just moving, so there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So life is starting to get complicated. I was expecting to leave a bunch of my extra crap that I didn't need, like here, and I've now been informed that my shit goes with me. And I'm like, well, I was expecting to keep some of this crap at the house, but okay. Anyways, we're not here to talk about me and my move. We're here to talk about wrestling. More importantly, we're here to talk about BST, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And I won't say that name too much because I don't know how the B word plays on YouTube. It's in the section now under the description. It might not be there by the time the show ends up on VOD and whatnot. We see the first little bit of this. YouTube gets kind of weird with that word. But this is a local promotion to me from Hamden, Connecticut. It's a Connecticut promotion. They've run different venues throughout the years, but this is their new-ish venue that they've been running for a while, the Devonshire Hall in Hamden, Connecticut. I like these places that either run the same 4 or 5 places all the time or run the same building all the time. Like, I know this is what our friends in Canada do, where Bobby will tell you, with PPW, they basically run the same venue every time. Like, they have special events that they do in other places, but they basically run the same venue all the time. With our good friends over at Wrestling Open, those two venues are the same venues they run every Monday, every Thursday. It's predictability, it's understanding, it's feeling comfortable in your space. This is a cool venue. Like, this is an interesting venue. I didn't realize how cool it was until the main event. We'll get there. But the company comes out of Bridgeport. They've been running since about 2019, so it's a young promotion in and of itself. Since this, I unfortunately made a boo-boo on Twitter, and since we're not premium level members, I couldn't fix my boo-boo, and I didn't feel like deleting it when I figured it out. But I said this was their latest event, and I will correct myself that it is not their latest event. Their latest event is not yet up on the IWTV, which is why I assumed it was the latest event. However, All Black Everything has since happened between Do or Dijak and the show. Hello, Bobby. Thank you for joining us. We're doing all right. We're doing good. I'm very excited to see the results for All Black Everything because that's a cool idea for a promotion that's not Ashe Wrestling, where Ashe really runs into that, where this is the place where we get to really involve our community. And in the Northeast, that's a bit, I don't want to say it's a bit out of place, but it's a bit unusual. That's not the type of thing we typically have up here. So to have a promotion being willing to be like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to run a show that's dedicated to a community of people and invest in that community, I'm really excited to see how that show turns out. I was really excited with it when I was talking to you about it, and I found out that the 2 announcers that they typically use, or at least one, but both of them had said that they were going to step aside for that show to allow other announcers of the community to go ahead and get involved. And I'm like, that's a cool idea too. Like, it's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary to have a show All Black Everything to include the announce team as well. But I think that was a cool idea. I think it's a cool thing to do. I think it's an interesting and a different thing. And again, it lends into this is going to be for the community. Run by a guy who we've heard on commentary at other places, and Brother Greatness was running that show. He was promoting that show through BST. And we've heard him on some of our Wrestling Open shows that we've covered. He's been an announcer on them. So he's not an unfamiliar name to the two of us. I don't know if you could pick him out of a lineup, but we've heard his name. We've heard his voice before. Mm-hmm. What did you think of this show and this venue and this announce team and ring announcer overall?
I'll say with the venue itself, I like the look of it, and like you said, I like how we got more into it with the main event, and we got to see a little bit more what it looks like. It look almost, is it a brewery? Because it kind of looked like it almost.
No.
It reminded me of the women's show. I forgot the name of it that we had talked about before. Billy Stark's promotion. It kind of reminded me of that venue. Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of that venue there, towards the main event when we got to see like the concession stand in that area there. But the commentary, I really enjoyed them. I'm not gonna say they're in like my top or anything like that, but I would say like in the middle for me. I really enjoyed the fact that they were, even though there was like no storylines to it, but I like how they keep bringing up the history of the individual in the ring. They keep giving us facts about them, any other like recent matches or recent wins, and basically their resume. So I like how they give us more like insight to that person as the match was happening, and like in the history within the company. So I like that aspect of it. I really enjoyed the ring announcer too. She's so pretty too. I love how she was dressed up. So I overall like the look of her too. But yeah, it's
by
a
the
cool
way, for
venue,
everybody, this is the venue. It's a party venue. It is the Devonshire Hall. It's a cool looking venue. This is where the announcers sit as they commentate on the show. To give you an idea, this little black area here is a balcony. Again, we'll talk about that in a bit. Hello, Miss Melball. We were just talking about you a few minutes ago. But yeah, no. I agree. I love Daniel Delia. I don't get to see her anymore on Chaotic Wrestling, because when I started going back after the pandemic, she was the social media correspondent. She was the backstage reporter. She was the ringside girl, things like that. And then she got this opportunity with BST to be able to go ahead and be their ring announcer, because obviously Chaotic has Rich Palladino. Mm-hmm. So filling in when Rich isn't around, she had a limited role there. So to be able to give her the ability to, extend her wings, to be able to do something cool, this was really fun to see her. Yes, I can agree. She is a stunning woman. I've seen her in person. I have a selfie with her. She's
of course you do.
Absolutely fantastic. I have a selfie with Rich Palladino too. So let's not get on that train. Thank you.
No. I wanted to point out
real quick.
I hope I'm not the only one that I know is blasted in tears, but I keep reading it as best. So every time I just want to go best wrestling, I couldn't unsee it. Every time I saw it, I was like, it's not best. You have to like take that out of your mind, but I can't do it. It's hard.
Like I said, I would love to do the whole name all the time for the show, but Blood, Sweat, and Tears is going to.
I like the initials though, but I just want to say best.
Here's the funny thing. It may not be the best show I've ever watched, but it's damn sure consistent. This show was consistently good throughout the entire thing. I took the selfie with Rich just to justify the other selfie. No, I mean, I love Rich Palladino. Like I said, if I could do a show with Rich Palladino as the ring announcer, with the Ashe wrestling commentary team, that would be the best wrestling show in the world for me. So I think that would be the best commentary team we've had, mixed with our best ring announcer, and then you start putting on the talents, and we can start booking our own fantasy card. Yeah, no, I've got this. I love Rich. Rich is fantastic. I thought commentary was really good here. I could have done without all of the New York references, because fuck New York. But it is what it is, and you kind of got to live with it when you're living in Boston and the Knicks win a championship. You gotta live with them bragging, because Lord knows it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, us here in Boston, we understand that championships are a way of life, and we understand that happens more often than not. So, with those lesser places, you just got to understand that they got to be excited. Moving on to things that we want to talk about here. The opening match. Fatal 4-way for the #1 contendership for the BST Championship. With Kylon King, Mike Skyros, #1 Ichiban, and A-Game Joseph Alexander. Wow. This was one hell of a 4-way. Like, I saw this on the card, and I was like, I never would have put the four of you together, but then at the same time, they really feel like they fit together. Astrid, tell us what you thought about this match, and more specifically, let's talk about Kylon King in singles action for the first time for you.
I know. I was like, that's one thing. It felt weird to see him completely by himself like that. No, I like it was a good choice for an opener because with the high energy and everything that was happening in the match. I love that it's one of those like matches like it's similar to like NXT is always like something was always happening in the ring. So we always had some kind of action happening. There was no like quiet moment or anything like that or any kind of slow moment for us. Overall, I think it was a 2.0, if I remember correctly. Like, it made me laugh because that point when it happens the second time when Ichiban gets hit, but then he just slides over. He's like, I'm not getting pinned after this. I was like, smart man. I like the strategy. So I feel like it's a good play from him. I'll give him that. It's the first time I see Mike wrestling though, so that was interesting. See the like first impression of him. That was really something different for me. But overall, I like that all four of them have really good chemistry. And I was like, I love that there was always a back and forth, something was always happening. So I was like, I'm thinking, how is this gonna end? Who's gonna win it? Because anybody could have taken it at that point. And I like when the matches make me think of like anybody can win it. I don't have like anybody in particular. I'm like, I feel like you're gonna win it. I feel like it feels predictable in that sense of it. And I didn't feel that with this match.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. Mike Skyros he's been featured on the channel before, but unfortunately it was a show that Astrid did miss. He was featured on the one of the Rhode Island shows that I covered, where Mortar took on Gangrel.
Mm-hmm.
Fight Life, that's the promotion I was looking for. The Fight Life promotion. I like Mike Skyros. He's working a little bit more often in places that I watch lately, which is nice to see. Interesting vibe of that guy. The face paint and everything else is real cool. Kylon King in singles action is still so fun and so creepy to watch because he's so good at tags. And seeing him in a 4-way almost felt like he's just in a big tag match where he just isn't tagging in and out. I feel like we sleepily talk about Ichiban all the time when we talk about any show in the Northeast lately because he's just seemingly everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fun to watch. He has his thing. He's really good at what he does. But my reason for wanting to watch this match in particular was seeing more of Joseph Alexander. I love Joseph Alexander and the work he does. I love to see him more often. He doesn't work up this way more often than not. He doesn't really get up this far, so it's nice to see him here. A couple of spots I have here was the series of triple suplexes were fantastic. I loved that, where everybody got to be the guy being suplexed, and everybody got to be the guy both in the middle and in the back. I thought that was a really cool, innovative little thing where they just kind of ring around the rosy the whole thing, so that everybody. I said it the first time. I'm not saying it every time. It's Ichiban, not Inchiban. Mr. Bobby Munson, if you're going to correct me on things. I mean, I know it's autocorrect, but I'll take the win where I can get it. This match is just all gas, no brakes. Yeah, I'll know what I mean, kind of Jacob Fatu style. Like, but it works. Like, these guys keep that pace, and everything makes sense, and the near falls make sense, and nobody's doing anything super crazy and like wild and out of the box. Like, it's all generic, just good wrestling stuff going on. Uh-oh, he has a retort. At least I'm overtired and greened out. I have an excuse. Not a great excuse, but all right, fine. In the end, Kylon King does get the win here, which I love. I love the fact that it's Kylon King, especially considering our main event is Donovan Dijak versus Dustin Waller. And
Mhm.
I'm like, the idea, I know it's not going to happen, but just the idea that we could be getting Miracle Generation versus Miracle Generation for the
Yeah.
BST championship at the end of the night, like having that match be set up for their next big show that's not all black
Mhm.
everything, was just an idea that was just like, that's a really cool hook that Dustin Waller might beat Dijak. And
Yeah.
again, Dustin Waller's at the run of his career right now, at least up here. He's got a bunch of championships. Places are taking him seriously. He's getting pushed heavily as a singles competitor in a lot of different places. So, in theory, he's not even that wild of a shout to beat Dijak in general, especially here. And again, we'll talk about that more when we get to that match, because I think that's something that commentary did a really good job of in that match, as well as what they did here. Um, Talking about the people who did win championships here and who haven't
Mhm.
won championships. And the best part was this commentary team wasn't afraid to apologize for mistakes they made throughout the night. Instead of pretending the mistakes didn't happen, they twice apologized for saying something that was factually incorrect about a competitor. Once was about the moonsault that they attributed to Leyla Hirsch, that was Rachel Lay's. And the other
Mhm.
one was the fact that they said that Kylon King had won championships here, when this is one of the few places that Miracle Generation has never been the tag team champions of. Which, again, was fun and interesting that that's something going
Mhm.
on. Like I said, this was a really fun match. Anybody could have won, and I would have been like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like the way they're building up Mike Skyros, where he's never won a championship here. It's like, okay, maybe he's the guy that they're going to build up to fight against, one of the guys. Kylon King, if Waller wins, it's I'm fighting my best friend, I'm fighting my tag team partner. What a banger match that's going to be. If Dustin loses, it's now I'm doing it for Dustin. I'm doing it for Dusty. I'm going to go ahead and do this on behalf of my partner who couldn't get the job done. And I think that's a cool storyline that they take as well. Ichiban and Joseph Alexander are just really great competitors who have a lot of history here with groups that they're a part of. Makes a lot of sense if they're getting a big win. This was great. This did everything it needed to do. It entertained me for about 10 minutes. I loved it. It was fantastic. Any lasting thoughts from you on this one? No? We will move on then. I'm just looking to see if I can get an actual time or 11 minutes, 55 seconds. So, yeah, plenty of time. Good amount of time. We then get into our first title match of the evening, where we have B3CCA, the international pop star herself. I've never seen her work overseas, so I don't know how international she is. I don't call Canada overseas also, just so we're clear. Multinational, yes. International, not quite sure yet. Taking on former AEW / Ring of Honor talent Leyla Hirsch. Again, I posed this question to Astrid, and Astrid gave me the barest of answers of being, well, she could have got herself over. She could work on her
Yo,
character.
there you go. I was gonna say, please quote me correctly, sir. Because okay,
Leyla,
I say it because I like her wrestling. But if I were to say, aside from like she had one storyline with Stat, and they mentioned her or something about her being adopted. Other than that, they never told us anything about her. So my mindset is, how am I supposed to connect with you when I don't know your story? And I feel like she didn't get that opportunity to really get that character like that and to develop something there. It was just more like, here, you're gonna wrestle. And we saw her wrestle, and I enjoyed it. But I feel like I can connect 100% when I don't know more. And I feel like that's the downfall that she had being in AEW. Is like, I feel like they could have developed her character a little bit more. The only time we got it was that glimpse with Statlander, and it wasn't even much to begin with. It was just like, oh, I'm adopted, and we had like, oh, your parents didn't like you or didn't want you kind of line because you're adopted, and that was pretty much it. And it was like, I didn't like the line to begin with as it was, so that didn't help either. Um, but I like her. Like, for example, even here with Becca, I like her wrestling with Becca. It reminds me a lot of how Shayna works, for example, with Becca. I feel like that it felt like a similar vibe to it. That Becca's a little bit more like her quickness and try to find any way to get that victory. But Layla's like, I'm not letting you have it. I should just German suplex here and another suplex over there. Where I'm gonna stop you somehow. And I like the fact that even at the end, they're like, I'm like, they mentioned it in commentary too. They said this is the first time she's by herself. Usually she has people with her. So is she gonna really win this match today because she's completely by herself with no backup? But Becca will always find a way because she always does. So I was not expecting it to happen the way it happened. But using the ropes the way she did in a great angle was really smart of her. So I'll give her that too.
Yeah, I mean, I love to tease Becca about certain things. Becca's fucking fantastic in the ring. We've talked about her numerous times. I'm still surprised she's unsigned by anybody, whether it be WWE ID or AEW at this point. Because I feel like one of the two of them would take a flyer on her because, my God, could you imagine her on Ring of Honor trying to do the thing, like doing the things she does? Like her gimmick on Ring of Honor with some of those talents would be sensational. Her coming out there in like Harley Cameron on AEW. If we go straight to, if we just put her on AEW, like her and Harley Cameron is an inbuilt feud because they both do the whole music thing. Like there's a lot of fun you can have with Becca in AEW. The WWID women's program, probably not as much fun, but those are all people that she's worked with numerous times, so that's easy for her to do. It's something easy for her to be able to go ahead and do. And I think that she would excel once she got to NXT. I think she would excel because I think that character would get over with that crowd. I mean, we've seen how much they loved Joe Hendry. Imagine if we had Becca over there. Leyla Hirsch is great. I love watching Leyla Hirsch wrestle. I think she's great. I think she didn't, and I agree with you that her character didn't get over in AEW because there was no character. But that feels like it's more a problem of creative than it is a problem with the wrestler. The wrestler only gets to be able to do the things they can do with the time that they're given. And if they don't get the time, and again, oh God, AEW can't tell women's stories. Shocker. I understand. It's just a shock. It's a shocking new revelations that AEW has a hard time booking women properly. But you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't understand. Because most of the time, women fall into two categories. They're either not entertaining or they can't wrestle. If you're a bad women's wrestler, it's one of the two. You're either not entertaining or you can't wrestle. Because if you can do one of the two of those, and trust me, there are plenty of women who are signed talent on television who can only do one of the two of those. I'm looking at you, Jade Cargill.
Oh my God.
I'm not getting off that fence. She still can't wrestle. But she's entertaining. Sort of. But like, there are still women who are signed competitors who can't do one of the two things. And whereas men have to probably do both. Like, I feel like as a male competitor, if you're not doing both of those things, you're not getting noticed. Whereas with the female wrestlers, at least if you can do one, you've got a shot to be noticed. Leyla can do both. She is entertaining, but like Shayna, like you, the best example of who she is Shayna Baszler. She is a short version of Shayna Baszler who's not quite as charismatic. That's the perfect definition of who Leyla Hirsch is. But she was fantastic here. Her and Becca had good chemistry. Her and Becca had a fantastic match. Becca's the perfect type of opponent for somebody like Leyla Hirsch, where she's got all the charisma. Thanks, clips. Will never take Ed out of... Yeah, no, I will never have any of that little rant there be taken out of context by the AI clipping tool we use. Never in a million years will it be taken out of context. I love this match. I thought it was great. 11 minutes, 38 seconds. It got time. It had all the time in the world it needed. Becca leaves with a friggin' busted up lip, which is just fantastic. Because Becca, recently, that's been a thing for Becca. She just keeps getting busted. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen Becca post-match pictures where she's holding random promotions women's championship with like a busted lip and like a face full of blood on her chin. She needs to take a small break to let her lips heal so that she stops bleeding everywhere, or else we're going to start calling her Becca Moxley. But otherwise, she's doing fantastic. She's still great. She's doing all the things she needs to do. That finish was fantastic. She couldn't put her feet on the ropes to get the leverage, so she just hooks it with her arm. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it doesn't really help her. But, like, it's still the cheaty heel does the cheaty heel thing to get the win, so it still makes the crowd mad. So, mission accomplished. I love this. I think this is fantastic. This is a great match. Any lasting thoughts on this one, or are we going to move on? All right. We move on to our first women's singles match without any championships on the line. It's our second of 3 women's matches on this card, by the way, which I'm sure played a small part in Astrid picking this over the other shows we were potentially going to watch this week. No, 3 women's matches didn't help it at all in the slightest, huh?
There was a couple of things. It wasn't just that.
I mean, it certainly helps.
Yeah, exactly. The time frame really helped too.
Well, yes. When we already done a 2, and one show was 3 hours 40 minutes, and the other show was 2 hours 15. I knew before I finished typing the 3 hours 45 that we weren't watching the 3 hours 45, but 2 hours 15.
No, because I was late already. I forgot to pick it earlier.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, we are here to talk about Kylie Alexa taking on Liviyah. Before we get to this, because we have thoughts. I'm sure we both have thoughts. Because we've seen this match before. We've talked about this match before. We do want to go ahead and take a small, brief moment to talk about... I've talked about how great Kylie Alexa is and how I think she's fantastic. And how she's taking over the wrestling world. And how I think that she needs to be featured more everywhere. The NWA has listened to the things I had to say. Obviously, this is because of me and nothing else. Because of me and the things that I say about Kylie. Like, no, I know it's not me. Actually, just give me the sure it is. Sure, whatever. Kylie and Alexa Page, Kylie and Kenzie Page, or Kylie Alexa and Kenzie Page, are now running on behalf of NWA this year's Empower in August. Which, by the way, chef's kiss, fantastic. This is going to be a whole bunch of fun. I've never said anything. Oh wait, no, I have said a lot of bad things about Billy Pumpkins, haven't I? Whole bunch of things on
Billy Pumpkins. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, Billy Pumpkins. He's Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins. Billy Pumpkins. I may have gone on 1 or 2 rants about the NWA in the past. I mean, for good reasons. Trust me, he doesn't watch this show. I know he has no clue what's going on. It's fun. Anyways, on top of that, Kylie and Kenzie are going to have a really fun opportunity. Yes, I've seen that he has receipts. This is one I'm shocked is happening, but I can't wait. I may actually find a way to watch the NWA to watch this. Because this match is going to be fire. Natty taking on both Kylie and Kenzie in a triple threat match on July 25th. Kudos to the NWA for finding a way to pull that match off out of nowhere. Because that's something. That's going to be a banger match. Like, I don't care what anybody has to say. That's going to be fantastic.
Especially with that version of Natty.
Yes, because that's Natty Neidhart, not Natalia. So I'm very excited for that. Astrid, what do you got on this match, though? Kylie Alexa versus Liviyah.
So I like this one better than the other one. I just like that I would say, like, overall, I feel like it went better in, like, the pacing and the aspect of the match. The only thing is, like, I don't have particularly anything that really stood out to me in the match that I can really highlight per se, aside from Kylie using the title ended up on Liv's face and that helped her towards the win at the end. But I feel like they had a better, like, more of a better understanding here in this match of each other. So I feel like ended up being better than the previous one in that aspect of it. I feel like they worked really well with each other and that they really had a good baby face versus heel dynamic as well. I feel like it worked out better overall in that aspect of it. I just wish it would have done something that I could be like, oh wow, that really stood out to me. Like, oh, that it makes that match memorable for me, for example, compared to the other two matches. And I would say that's the only thing that I would say I would have preferred if something else would have happened there that would have made me feel that way. But I like the match though, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no. And yeah, Bobby, I agree. It's probably going to be for sale somewhere. I just, one match may not be enough to sell me on an NWA pay-per-view, but we'll see. There were a couple things I had. We're going to start with the most memeable moment, which is this moment.
Within the first 3 matches of Do or
We have a new Nia Jax My Hole, because that's fantastic. And I do love her response to this on Twitter was, look, they're small. I don't have a lot of padding. I'm just like, oh, Kylie, you're fantastic. Don't ever change. You're great. One of the fun things that we learned from this, we've been talking about Kylie, Alexa, and Liviyah pretty nonstop on this show in general, right? Like, whether they're against each other or just on the same shows, we've been talking about them an awful lot. I had no idea who trained each of them until we watched the show. Matt Taven and Vincent trained Liviyah, which was intriguing to learn. I never thought 2 men with so much charisma would teach somebody to be so fucking bland in their character work. I'm sorry, but I can't imagine. But think about it. Like, this is I'm Matt Taven and Vincent of the Righteous. Like, there are very few people with this much charisma in the business, let alone as trainers in the business right now. And to come out so bland with no character, like Liviyah has essentially, other than being DJ Power's girlfriend, because that's the only character I've ever seen her play, is DJ Power's girlfriend. And I hate that, because I much rather prefer when I get to do Mr. Lyra Valkyria for an LJ Cleary, or Mr. Tiffany Stratton when that was the case for, El Grande Americano. Like, I like doing that because that's more fun when their female counterparts are more famous than the male counterparts. Unfortunately, that's not the case with Liviyah. The other thing I'll say is she was really good in this match. Like, from an in-ring perspective, this is one of the better matches I've ever seen her have. I really enjoyed her in this match. For Kylie, Alexa and her trainer, no real surprise here. Dr. Tom Pritchard from the Pritchard Wrestling Academy. I refuse to say who else runs that academy, but if you blow some turnbuckles with some fire, you might figure out who helped train her as well. But he's probably never there, so we probably don't have to worry about that. We just assume it's Dr. Tom. And the great thing about that is Dr. Tom has been the forefront of training wrestlers for decades. So, fantastic trainer there. So that made all the sense in the world when I think about Kylie, Alexa, and her work, especially as a heel, knowing that she came from the Pritchard Academy. That makes a whole lot of sense. I love this match. This is fun. Kylie, Alexa is just fantastic. She's always jacking with people in the front row. She loves to get in with all of the fans. She brings the energy up from the fan base no matter what's going on. This is our second straight singles match in the women's division, as they call it, the Monarchs division, which I love. A nod to the Divas title and the Butterfly, but their title is much better. But I like the idea. I like the nod. I like everything going on here. But I just think Kylie, Alexa is due to be signed by somebody with a bigger profile than the NWA at some point soon. Like, I can't imagine somebody else not signing her as soon as they can, considering she's under contract with the NWA. By the way, Liviyah is now under contract with the NWA as well, and she had an open door war match, I believe, with Kylie on one of the episodes of Power, if I'm not mistaken, if I saw that on Twitter correctly. The match is fun. 10 minutes, 40 seconds, got plenty of time. Kylie, Alexa got a memeable moment out of it. I really enjoyed everything that happened here. Any more thoughts from you? Just going to stay muted? Okay. We'll move on to our tag team match, our only tag team match of the evening, between Johnny Medina, the birthday boy, and Peter Gianni, making up The Rugged, taking on Counter-Strike, made up of Mark Alexander and Nolan Pierce. These are 4 guys that are guys. I'd never heard of them before. I'm likely to never hear about them again. This match was fine, I guess. It started, it ended. I have no notes.
That is the first. I'm very surprised. Wow. I was saying I muted myself because I was typing for the chapter, so that's why I keep muting myself so you don't hear my keyboard and complain about it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. I get what you mean because it's one of those that, like you said, it was fine. There isn't a lot to highlight per se. Um, the way they won the match, it just made me like, it reminded me so much of like how Ethan won the title in NXT. I know there's a callback to another win like that and from before too. I know you know which one it is.
The Big Show. When Big Show gets knocked
Yeah.
with the brass knucks by William Regal, and Big Show hits the ropes and falls and pins William Regal because he's knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah, but this one, the only thing is like it took me off guard the way it happened because it wasn't like, I don't think the camera angle really helped because it was from the other side of the other person that was getting pinned, versus like like in an NXT, for example, you could see it right there when it was happening at that moment clearly, so it made more sense when it happened. But in this one, I hear the bell ringing, and I'm like, wait, nobody was pinning anybody. So I had to go back a few seconds, and that's when I realized that the guy fell on top of the other guy, and they counted that as the pin. And I went, I feel like the angle would have been better if you put it from the other guy's perspective, so we could have seen him falling on top of him. And I feel like that would have been better. For like, okay, I know what's happening, and I feel like that's the only thing that like threw me off in this match because I feel like the win came out of nowhere because the angle didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I feel like they did really well for themselves in the match overall. At one point, I think it was, yeah, one of the guys did a shiny wizard, and I love the shiny wizard, so that was fine. I love to see it. But yeah, I feel like I would have done a little bit differently with the camera angle for that ending, and I feel like it would have got like a better reaction, if that makes sense, to
Yeah.
it, just because people are looking at it from like a certain point of view, versus like imagine if your view is blocked and you can't see it, all of a sudden the match ends. Then it just it makes you feel that way, like, wait, how did this happen? So I feel like that's the only thing that I would have changed overall, because like I said, it's like I feel like the thing came out of nowhere, like the victory. And I was so confused at first. I was like, wait, did somebody get DQ'd? Or is this a draw? Or what happened? And it didn't make sense to me until I went back and I realized that we get it from the other guy's point of view. So you don't get to see the whole thing happening.
Yeah, I mean, the camera angle is what it is. Indie wrestling, you get what you get. And again, NXT, they have plenty of people making sure the cameramen are in the exact perfect
They know.
position because
Yep.
they know the finish. Indie
Mhm.
wrestling is probably a lot less of, we know the finish, our camera guys know where to be. It's more so, let's just hope we get the right shot. And if we don't, well, it is what it is, and we'll move on.
Mhm.
But, I mean, like I said, it was fine. Like, it's not a bad match. It's just
No.
fine. Like, they're just 4 guys. Like, at the end of the day, they're just 4 guys having a match. Like, I don't really want to go search out any of them. I don't want to go find them. It happened. The finish is cool. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a cool finish, but is what it is.
Mhm.
Hello. 8 minutes and 16 seconds. It didn't last too long, and it was over and done with well before we needed to worry about it. Speaking of things that were sadly over and done before I wanted to worry about it, Jarett Diaz taking on Landon Hale. I love Landon Hale. A few of the first wrestling matches that I saw back in first wrestling shows that I saw back when I came back to independent wrestlings after the pandemic, Landon Hale was on a bunch of them. The good doctor himself, Landon Hale, chiropractor, has given up his practice to try to pursue wrestling full time. I like him. He's got a look. He's got a cool gimmick. it's a bit of a Dr. Britt Baker kind of entrance thing, so you kind of got to wink and a nod there. But at least it's a different type of doctor, you know. It doesn't go by like Dr. Landon Hale. It's just Landon Hale, the good doctor, which makes a lot more sense. And again, a chiropractor makes a lot of sense with the wrestling business, with the, you know, the adjustment being one of his finishers. Like the whole thing fits. I really enjoy that. Astrid was very excited to see Jarett Diaz because this is somebody that she's been looking forward to getting a chance to watch. And we just never had the opportunity to find a show that he's been on that we could go ahead and cover. His heater is really interesting. Big, tall, goofy-looking dude.
Yeah.
Gets involved in the match, and like the match just ends after like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, fine. Like I was really hoping for a few more minutes on this because I just had to suffer through that tag match. It feels like, and I was like, this was like an exciting, like, oh, good. I've eaten my vegetables, so now I can have, you know, something sweet to eat, and it's just like, nope, you get 5 minutes of these guys. The face of the franchise, Jarett Diaz, is the one to watch on this show for me. Of the people I'd never heard of on this show, which, again, weren't very many, but of the people who we've not talked about often enough, Jarett Diaz is my one to watch. This guy has it. Ashley, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, he's the other reason why I picked this show, because I guess, like you said, I had seen a little bit of him online, but I had never seen him wrestle, and I wanted to. His profile came out to my attention because he's Puerto Rican too, so I had seen like pictures of him with his attire like that, showing it off. But that's the reason why I was excited for this one, because I thought, oh, I finally get to see him having like a regular match, and then I was disappointed when it was that short because I wanted to see more. I like his look. I like he has charisma. A lot of people don't have it, and he does have it. And he has a more of a character. Yeah, I'm like, when people say, does he have it? He has it. I feel like that's the way I can describe him. I wish the match would have been longer, definitely, so I can see him a little bit more in Landon too, because Landon's I think that was my introduction to him, and I didn't get to see much from him either because Jarett took really control most of the match here. So there was really nothing that I could say like I could highlight from Landon. Unfortunately, I wish I did. Um, but yeah, Jarett, I love the look. I like everything about him so far, and that Spanish fly. Oh my god, that was beautiful. Once I saw it, I went, "Is that a Spanish flight?" I had to go back and listen to this because I want to make sure. It's one of my favorite moves, and the fact that he just did it like standing in the middle of the ring, it made it even more impressive. So that I love that. But yeah, I just wanted this match to last a little bit longer than it did because I feel like it was a good showcase for Jarett. But I feel like they could have done a little bit more with him. That was the only thing that was like overall disappointing.
Yeah, shortest match of the night, 5 minutes and 4 seconds here. Could have been great, but it wasn't. It was just like I said, it just didn't have time. Like they told a good story in the 5 minutes they had. Like everything made sense, and you know, Landon Hale getting hung up to dry by trying to pay attention to the guy on the outside, which leads Jarett Diaz to get the big win. Makes a lot of sense. It gives the young guy a win, so he can go ahead and pursue their, you know, their intercontinental title. It's called the territory title. We didn't see it on this show, but it is on their shows. So, you know, let's say like it was fine, but and I'm glad that if we're gonna have a short match, the only singles men's match that wasn't for a title is the short match. I think makes a lot of sense. Tag matches being short really short changes more people. A singles men match being short helps out because it means that the women get more time. Which honestly, if we're gonna do that, I would prefer if we have 3 singles women's matches that they all get time, and they all got really good time. As we'll talk about the last one in just a moment. Like I said, there's stuff that could have been better on this, but overall, pretty good. I was happy with this overall. Wanted to see more. Excited to see more from Jarett Diaz in the future. Moving on, we have our next match, which is Tiara, top tier Tiara James, taking on Rachel Leigh. And if you feel like you've heard the name Rachel Leigh this week, you have indeed probably seen Rachel Leigh more than you've heard Rachel Leigh. Because this popped up this week. I had to have this fact checked by my AEW fact checker extraordinaire, Astrid Pizarro, which then Rachel went ahead and confirmed it for us anyways. But they're not a couple. This is just AEW stuff for Andrade because, you know, Andrade be Andrade. I swear. Can they find women's wrestlers closer to Andrade's age for the love of God for this? Like, for the love
He's not
of
even
God.
that old.
I
How old? You're
understand.
calling him old. He's younger than me.
No, we had this discussion. He's in his mid-30s.
And what do you think I am, sweetheart?
I don't know. Early 30s? You just turned 30 when we started working together? I don't know.
I'm 35.
Okay, great.
But this made me laugh because when you posted, when you sent me this, and I'm like, I'm laughing my butt off as I'm responding to it. Because I'm like, you know already the gimmick that Andrade has, kissing the girls at rings, and we see it with
No, I
Emily.
understand. I've seen.
So I was like, it's the same thing, just not at ringside.
But that's the thing. Can we not find people Andrade's own age?
I think they're about this. They're probably in the age range. The funny part about it, though, is like the fact that she had to deny or say it out loud that it's basically tweeted and posted that we're not together. She's like, if I had a man, I wouldn't be showing him off as it is already. Oh my gosh! I was like,
Andrade's really no. Andrade hates wrestling. He just loves his gimmick.
oh, have you seen the one with John? Is it Johnny? Her name, Robbie, right?
Yeah,
I think that's how you say her name. Have you seen hers?
I haven't, but I'm sure
She hasn't give him a kiss on the cheek. She goes,
that's good. That's good. We need to stop having these female talents be forced to kiss Andrade.
she tries to do the picture thing with him, and you know how usually the girls are like very flirty with him at that moment. She just went. It's so memorable. I'm gonna have to look it up later to see if I can send it to you. Because
Johnny Robbie, if we're correct on who this is, Johnny Robbie would be the West Coast Pro Women's Champion too. Johnny Robbie. Like, let's make sure we've covered her before on this show. We need to cover more West Coast Pro. Well, speaking of a promotion we need to start looking for, we haven't covered them in about a year. We really should.
Yeah, but that one, aside from Emily, because I knew about the Emily one, but she's one of the ones that's memorable for me because she's like going for the Chico, like being flirting with her. She's like, I can't forget it.
But no, Rachel Leigh is here. Me and Astrid both have brand new 8x10s for Rachel Leigh as courtesy.
I forgot where I have it.
Courtesy of Whatnot. I got Astrid the one of her doing the Astrid pose, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, getting to see her in the ring again was fantastic. I understand that they're not forcing them. I understand it's not difficult to force them to do it. We need to get again. I will repeat. I just want the women to be closer to Andrade's age.
I was gonna say there's a lot of people that will volunteer as tribute, so
I understand that they're volunteering for this. Again, they're not having their arms broken to do it. I get it. I understand that like they want to do this and they're okay doing it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not the talent. Just so we're clear.
I found the Johnny one. Send it to you so you can.
Okay.
I want like your reaction to it when you actually see it.
Okay. Where is it being sent to?
Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's taking a second, so give me a moment. While we're doing this, go ahead and talk about top tier Tiara James taking on Rachel Leigh here in Hamden, Connecticut.
So I like this one particularly for commentary because I like how they give us more of a background to each of the ladies. They tell us more about Rachel having a gymnastics background and she's able to show it off in the ring as well. The one point I noticed that obviously they didn't point it out, but she went for an enziguri, but she didn't even hit Tiara at that point. But then they're like, oh, we thought she was gonna go for eat the feet, but she went for an enziguri sort of thing. But she didn't even hit Tiara, and you could tell by the camera angle, unfortunately. I did like the modified like clover leaf that she did too at that point. And this is one of those that you have a feeling like Tiara's gonna win because she's the veteran here out of the two. But the way that Rachel's wrestling, I feel like it gives you hope like she would win it. No, I will send you the video so you can see. Then in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how is Tiara gonna win this match because the way we have it, that I feel like if you go about the wrestling match in itself, I feel like you could have thought that Rachel was winning the match. So I was wondering how Tiara was gonna end up with the victory somehow. I like that it was something different with the mirror or bringing up the mirror and then distracting the referee. and bringing that into play to get that win at the end. So I feel like that was like, even though I feel like a lot of matches ended up with like weird finishes, but I feel like that was creative at the end with the mirror happening.
Speaking of mirrors in this match, there was a lot of mirrors in this match because, like, so I know Asher doesn't watch entrances, so I'll go ahead and talk about this one. As they're getting ready to come to the ring, the referee's bringing out this like gray box, and I'm like, what the hell is this box that he's bringing to the ring? Because I'm like, I've seen the card, I know what match is next because I know the only 2 matches that are left. And I'm like, there's no stipulation for this match. It's fucking Tiara James's full-length mirror. It's just a tiny little itty bitty one that she can just like hand walk around with one hand while she's holding the other mirror. Also, this ref is the dumbest, blindest, fucking batshit referee I've ever seen in my life. There's glass everywhere in this ring.
Yeah.
And he's like, 1, 2, 3.
Like,
I'm like, you've got to be fucking shitting me.
he got paid off. He really did.
This is fantastic. I love these two. These two are great. This match was fantastic. I loved every bit of this. Like, I stopped what I was doing to watch this entire match. The fact that all of the women on this card are really young, with the exception of probably Becca and Leyla, I think are probably the 2 oldest women on this card. But like, they specifically mentioned it during Kylie Alexa versus Liviyah that they're both under 23. And I'm thinking like Rachel Leigh and Tiara seem like they're in that general vicinity, closer than Leyla and Becca, because they're probably slightly higher. They're probably in their upper 20s as opposed to the lower 20s, I would imagine. And again, they've got plenty of career ahead of them. Again, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, age is a problem, these women are too old. I'm just saying that Tiara and Rachel, being this good, this young, they both have charisma. They both have stuff going on. By the way, after watching this show with both of them on it, I need to have a match where we have the entrances for Kylie Alexa taking on Rachel Leigh, so I can hear Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne followed by Maneater. Because I just love to bop my head around to both of those songs. This was fantastic. And again, another women's match that got damn near 10 minutes. The Becca match got 11 and a half, almost 12 minutes. It got just under 11 minutes for the Liviyah versus Kylie Alexa match. And then this match got 9+. So overall, the women got 30 minutes of a 2-hour show in 3 matches. And they had basically the 3rd, 4th, and 5th longest matches on the card. Which again, considering the matches that were longer than them were the 4-way opener and the main event.
In the main,
like that, you can't complain when you talk about women's wrestling and getting time. The women not only did they get equal time, they probably got better time when you take away the main event from the card. And again, your bigger, longer matches should often be your opening match and your closing match. You know, that's a good way to do your show. So to have those be the 2 matches that were longer than the women makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I was trying to find her age, but I couldn't find it. But it just says that she's in her early 20s.
Which one? Rachel Leigh?
Rachel, yeah.
Hold on. Cage Match will have it.
No, I looked, but I don't know. I didn't see it on the website at least.
I don't know. It's not.
She looks that young, so I would say that.
1 year in the business. That's not so.
Yep.
Any lasting thoughts on Rachel Leigh and Tiara here?
It's like I like the fact that Rachel's doing so great for somebody that has so little time in the business, and I love how Tiara has her character down to it. So I hope to see more from her too, because I feel like she definitely has that charisma too.
Yeah, Tiara James is fucking fantastic. The ability she has to do the things that she does, and just the absolute way she, like, it's one thing to mug to the camera, it's another thing to make the camera love you. Like, Tiara James is the camera loves me. And even in her matches, like, she finds little ways to do things. Like, she beat up Rachel on the ring ropes, and then she kind of like hung like sort of like one leg on the ring rope for like 3 seconds while staring at the camera. Like, she's just so good at what she does. Again, for somebody so young in the business, it's like they get it. And again, this is part of the things about people like Tiara James working places like Wrestling Open, where you're working week in, week out, like where you have these, like, she may not be on all the cards, but she's wrestling often enough that she's getting in front of cameras and she's getting the experience. And she's working places where Gabe Sapolsky is going to be out there working, where he can give them advice. And I guarantee that people like her are people that get the eyes of somebody like a Gabe Sapolsky, because he sees that there's something going on with her. She's got, like we said with Jarett, she's got that it factor. She knows what she's doing. She has her character down. There's a reason why Tiara James, I think, is a more valuable commodity. While she may not be the better wrestler in the ring than somebody like Liviyah, I'd much rather watch a Tiara James match than a Liviyah match, because Tiara James is going to entertain me. Tiara James is going to have a fun time. And she's going to have a really good wrestling match on top of it. Speaking of really good wrestling matches, we get to our main event. I have a few notes here, but my biggest note is just all caps, 6 letters, banger. I love this match. This match is fantastic. Donovan Dijak taking on Dustin Flash Waller for the BST World Championship. This match was insane. Like, this match was really, really good. One of the weirdest, like, grungiest chair shots I've ever seen. Dijak's on the outside, just kind of standing there. And Waller decides that he's going to do a dive to the outside. And Dijak just, like, reaches over, grabs a steel chair, just, like, chucks it over the ropes, and just smacks him in the fucking face. Like, good God, that was a rough chair shot to the head.
Yeah, that visual was one that was I especially like this is the other match that I really like the commentary in, because they keep mentioning, it's like, oh, we have the like difference between the power and the speed, and I like how they said we have the Waller that is more like the speed and Dijak with the power, but it's like still Dijak has his moments that he does have a lot of speed to him too, but they even mention is like if we like slow it down, then it's more towards Dijak's advantage, which is like if you speed it up, it's more towards Dustin's. And I like that the portrayal that they give us, and not only that, but the other part that I really loved is, like you said earlier, the fact that they go, oh, Kylon already won the match at the beginning, so if Dustin wins this one, do we get him versus Dustin? Or it's like, does Dijak wins? How does that, kind of giving us a comparison of both scenarios here and making it seem like any one of them could really win this match at the end. And even though I knew that Jack was gonna win, I still had a little bit of hope that Dustin would win it, because I feel like wrestling wise, he was doing so well, and I feel like he definitely could have had it. He has so like at least I think 2 close calls, if I remember correctly, towards the end of the match, and I went, that would have been it for me. If it would have ended the match right there, I would have been fine with it. That's how well that we're doing in this match. I did laugh when they started going upstairs in the venue, and they're like, "Oh no, my stuff has Dijak sweat on it," and whatever it was. But the visual, like them showing us the camera from like the top, looking down towards where the fans are, and when there's no way he's gonna throw them down, is he? I was like, I haven't seen anything on social media, because if not, I feel like I would have seen it. But I just kept thinking, if this happens, this is crazy. And in my mind, I already saw him on the floor before it even happened. So when he didn't happen, I went, "Oh, okay." I was surprised it didn't happen at all here. Um, but I overall like, I feel like they have such a good chemistry. I love also how they bring up a lot of Dijak's history. They keep mentioning, it's like, oh, Dijak has been everywhere. He's been from WWE to NXT to MLW, and he's doing these indie runs, and people like Dustin, and look how well like the match is going and wrestling like this, and then how everything's gonna play out with Kylon later too. Overall, and then the parts with the referees too, that we get not one but 2 referees in this whole main event. I was like, what else is gonna happen in this match? Because I feel like so many things happen, from like the chair to the referees to like the top of the venue, everything. So it was a lot happening at the same time, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah, they did a really good job of making it feel like Dustin Waller could win this match. And again, he can.
Mhm.
Like, Donovan Dijak, the one thing we've learned about Dijak is Dijak's not afraid to lose a match if it makes sense. The one thing I loved is they're talking about Dijak's 300-day reign as the BST champion, but he's only defended the title 3 times. This is his 3rd title defense. And I love that they gave Dijak fantastic logic for this. He's like, look, I show up when the company tells me that they have a match for me. If people don't want the title, why am I just going to show up and give somebody an opportunity? I love the heel idea of this with Dijak being like, I don't just hand out title matches. And the best part is they're like, he's not even saying he won't show up. He just wants somebody to call him out. Like they literally go through it and they were like, we talked to him about it. And he's like, as long as somebody says, hey, I want a shot at your title. He's like, if you're a worthy competitor, I'll give you a shot. He's like, people just got to step up to the plate. I'm like, at least if you're going to have a guy who's not defending the title all the time, that makes a lot of sense. That makes it feel like it's a bigger deal. He's not a part-time champion who's just available 30 days out of the year. He's a part-time champion who, when they have something for you, you show up. Makes a lot more sense, makes it better off. I like that. That's a good gimmick. Hey, WWE, think about that one for your women's championships. No? Nothing? All right.
I'm going to go on a rant about the both world titles that I don't want to.
I mean, I have something for Peggy for rants. If you want to use that for yourself, we can do that. Anyways, I love this. The brawl on the outside felt like it felt real. It felt cool. Like it felt unique. It felt different because it was the only time they really went to the outside on the entire show. Like they went outside the ring, but it was the only time they went into the crowd. And yeah, it's not a no disqualification match. It's not a falls count anywhere match. But I love how the referee's just like, look, it's a title match. I'm just going to kind of let it go. Nobody's using weapons. Nobody's doing anything stupid. Like nobody's really breaking any rules other than just not being in the ring. Let's just let it go and see what happens. Like I love when that happens. And it gets overused, but it made sense here and it worked here. Dustin being able to know Dijak's moveset. I love how commentary points out, like, we've all seen Dijak wrestle for the better part of a decade and a half. We know what he does and we know what it looks like. So for Dustin to be able to scout it and know how to get out of it was a lot of fun because it made the smaller guy reversing the big, massive dude make more sense. The other thing I really loved is Dustin Waller. We've seen everybody and their mother try to be Jay Lethal. We've seen everybody and their mother try to do a lethal injection. Dustin Waller is the only man other than Jay Lethal I've ever seen actually do it right. He spikes Dijak twice in this match with that. I'm not saying he hits it well. I'm saying he spikes Dijak on his fucking head twice with a lethal injection in this match. It's really good. Lethal injection. And he gets a couple real good near falls out of it. I thought they might be putting the title on Waller just to have the match with Kylon. I'm like, as a wrestling booker, like in the idea of taking the booker's mindset, because I'm not one, but like in the booker's mindset, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. That's going to sell tickets. Miracle Generation versus Miracle Generation is a way to sell tickets. But again, Dijak versus Kylon King, Kylon looking for his first title in the company, sells tickets too. So there's no losing in this match. And at the end of the day, Dustin does come down to Dijak. He eats defeat to the feast your eyes. 18:51, basically 19 minutes. Call it 20, because in the end of the day, this could have been 20, 25 minutes, and I still would have been happy. If this match went 5 more minutes, I wouldn't have been disappointed. I think they really did everything they needed to do, but they could have gone longer if they wanted to. This was a really fun card from top to bottom. At the end of the day, it was a fun 2 hours. It just really was. There wasn't a whole lot of downtime. The only thing we didn't talk about on this was the fact that there was a contract signing for a match taking place at All Black Everything. But we don't do contract signings here unless they're really important. And it was a cool verbal back and forth. But at the end of the day, there wasn't anything hugely fantastic. And we're not covering All Black Everything, unfortunately. Which is not something we're going to be able to really sink our teeth into because not a lot of history that we know. And the two names are not names that I'm super familiar with. Bobby Buffet is not a name I'm familiar with. We just kind of felt like we just skip it and just continue to mention it at the end of the show. But this was fun. I really enjoyed this. Astrid, how many CPA shirts would you give BST Wrestling? One as a promotion and two for this show in particular.
So as a promotion, I would say at least a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
For the show, I think about the same. Yeah, because I feel like the only thing that really was the downfall for me was the Jarett Diaz match. It's too short.
Yeah. Their commissioner, by the way, I know that you didn't watch the contract signing, so you would have missed this as well.
I saw a little bit of it.
Oh, did you see CC come out?
Yeah.
The now high school graduate who is their general manager, who had a match in this promotion before she graduated high school, where she tag teamed with Mercedes Martinez on one of their previous shows that I've watched. Yeah, and she's again Puerto Rican descent, which I thought would have been something fun for you to sink your teeth into with one of the other shows, both Mercedes Martinez and CC. No, I really love this promotion. I watch them from time to time when I get the opportunity. If I'd had the money and the time, I would have gone to this show as well when I went to Worcester to watch the rest of the show, because they did do one of their shows. Their Unbound show was there at the rest of this festival, which they mentioned a few times in this thing. I hope they come back up here. I hope that they run venues other than just this Hamden, Connecticut venue in the near future. I had a lot of fun with this. I give it 4.25 CPA shirts. It's a fine show. There's good matches on here, but there's nothing that blew my mind away. Like even the main event, it's really good. It's a quality main event, but it's not a 5-6 star match like they said on commentary. Where they're like, Meltzer's gonna rate this 6 stars. I'm like, Donovan Dijak's in this match, and there's no Keith Lee. This match ain't getting 4.5, let alone 6 stars, buddy. There's no Will Ospreay here. There's no 6 stars. But no, I thought it was really good. Commentary was overall really good over the course of the night. Mm-hmm. They really helped add to the matches, which is the best thing commentary can do. So shout out to them. Ring announcer was fantastic. I love Danielle Delia. She's great. Again, this card had so many names that we know on it, with people like Kylon King, with Ichiban, with Becca, with Leyla Hirsch. Even though we don't know her from her independent run, we know Leyla Hirsch. Kylie Alexa, Liviyah, Tiara James, Rachel Lay, Donovan Dijak, Dustin Weller. So many names we know on this show that we knew there was a low bar for it being bad. Mm-hmm. And it was only going to probably be good. So it was worth going into. We'll be back in a couple weeks with probably our last show before we take some time off, because I'm going to be moving. Astrid's going to have some stuff coming up in August. We probably won't have any taking overs in August. If we do, it'll probably be very late in the month of August. Last week or two that we probably would do anything when it comes to taking over. But we will be back in probably 2 weeks' time from tonight, right before the beginning of August. We'll be back with something. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking I'm looking at both ETU and House of Glory, because I believe they both have shows coming up at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. That I think might be something that we try to do, because I've been looking to do ETU for a while. But I also want to do something on the West Coast. We haven't gone outside of really New England in a while, because that's the places I'm familiar with, and that's the places I see on a more regular basis. So, we'll keep an eye on some of the other promotions. But if you, the people watching, have a promotion you want us to cover, go ahead and give us an odd. Let us know what we should be watching. Like I said, the only new promotion that I've heard of that I almost wanted to cover, but then I realized that they're on the ban list for Ed, maybe not for Asher, but they're definitely on Ed's ban list, is Produce. Because anybody telling you that you can't work somewhere else because you work their show just doesn't fly right with me. So they're on my personal ban list. If Ashley wants to cover them with a guest, that's perfectly fine with me. Because, they had Andre Chase on their show, their most recent show that they were doing. They have Andre Chase on it. I'm like, it's Produce. Nope.
I'm gonna look for a Florida one. We haven't done any Florida shows.
I would love to do a Florida show. Find me.
We've only done MLW, that doesn't count.
Well, yeah, MLW certainly, and we only did MLW because you were there, or else we sure as hell wouldn't have been covering MLW. Yes, August is indeed glorious, glorious chaos. Now we talked about that in the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. Astrid, tell the good people what you've got coming up and where they can find you.
Not much, but you can find me usually on my book account, Book Lovers Book Reviews. That's where I'm been the most active because I've been reading so much lately. But aside from that, you can find me on my Twitter's Astrid Pizarro and my Instagram and Threads Astrid Pizarro 20.
Yeah. You can of course find me here, but my stuff doesn't really matter. Go ahead and follow my good friend Ophelia Payne and all the wonderful things that she does. She is my co-host on the Marvel Talk along with Andre C. You can find all her gaming reviews as the gaming summer is continuing. So you can find her at opheliapayne.com. Find all her reviews, all kinds of fun stuff. There's been a lot of fun stuff coming up. I know there's a fun interview coming in the future, so just go ahead and check out this lovely young lady because she does fantastic work and she's got a real big interview coming that she got to do this week based on a tweet that she put out. So go follow Ella J at It's Ella J on Twitter because she's fantastic, friend of the channel, and she's great at what she does. Even breaking news now. Well, that was fun when we saw that she's breaking news with Fightful over the last couple of weeks with the Tuck Man and his tag team partner coming to the States for apparently NXT sounds like. So that'll be something fun to see. But yeah, you can go ahead and catch me. Marvel Talk will be back in a week or so as we cover episodes 4, 5, and 6 of X-Men 97. We'll be back at the end of the month as well for the review for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is coming up. It'll be the beginning of August. We'll have that review the first couple days of August, probably the Sunday, I believe, based on when people are seeing the movie. We got those things coming up. And like I said, Astrid and I will be back in 2 weeks covering something, hopefully something Florida-based, maybe something on the West Coast. If not, I have a couple of Northeast promotions that we can absolutely do if we get stuck for shows. But again, like I said, please let us know here at our local establishment, Ole Podcast and our local establishment on your favorite Twitter platforms and all those kinds of social media places. And if you want to follow BST Wrestling, not BTS. That would be more up Melball's alley than my alley, but BST Wrestling can be found at BST Wrestling _ on Twitter or linktr.ee/BST _ wrestling for all of their social media handles. But for myself, for Astrid Pizarro, this has been Taking Over, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.